Have these big circles of these Satanists around an altar where the people, sometimes in hooded, what do you call them? They were wearing these long cloaks that were brown with hoods, and they'd be in a circle or two circles, one inside of the other, by the altar, where there'd be live children and sometimes babies.
My mother is a very talented singer. It's such a complicated relationship.
My heart is broken that I've lost my mother, Mariah says in a statement to us, adding that she feels blessed that she was able to spend the last week with her before she passed.
Hold on to your seats because this one's wild. Mariah Carey is getting roasted online, and it's not just because of her music. People are buzzing with accusations that Mariah might have sacrificed her own mom and sister for fame. Yeah, you heard that right. Some fans think there's a lot more to her recent family tragedies than what's on the surface. With all the gossip flying around, it's time to dive into the drama and figure out if Mariah's really involved in some dark, shady stuff or if it's just another wild rumor. Let's spill the tea. Let me break it down for you. Mariah Carey is catching some serious heat online, and it's a whole mess. People are accusing her of doing some dark stuff to get famous, even going as far as saying she sacrificed her own mom and sister. The internet is in full freakout mode over this. So here's the scoop. Mariah's sister Allison and their mom Patricia both passed away recently, on the same day, no less. At first, fans were all about sending their condolences, but now some folks are side-eyeing Mariah, thinking there might be more to this story. There have been rumors floating around for a while now that Mariah might be into some shady business, especially since her siblings once claimed they were involved in satanic rituals as kids. Now, with both her mom and sister gone, people are wondering if there's some truth to those rumors. A few days ago, Mariah shared the heartbreaking news through People magazine, saying, "My heart is broken that I've lost my mother this past weekend, and sadly, in a tragic turn of events, my sister lost her life on the same day." She talked about how blessed she felt to have spent the last week with her mom before she passed. Losing two loved ones on the same day is beyond tragic, and even though Mariah and Allison weren't exactly close, it's still a huge loss. Details about how Mariah's mom passed away are scarce, but it sounds like Mariah knew it was coming. In her statement, she mentioned feeling blessed to have spent time with her mom in the last week, which makes it seem like Patricia might have been dealing with a long-term illness. Some sources say Patricia was bedridden towards the end, and Mariah was there for her the whole time. Mariah hasn't shared much more, which is totally understandable because dealing with the grief is hard enough without the public prying into your business. But when the family gathers like that, it usually means they knew the end was near and they wanted to be there before it happened. If you've been following Mariah over the years, you know her relationship with her mom has been rocky, to say the least. They've had a lot of ups and downs, and at one point, it seemed like they'd never make peace with each other. Mariah even opened up about it in her memoir, describing their relationship as a mix of pride, pain, shame, gratitude, jealousy, admiration, and disappointment. But despite all the drama, Mariah managed to keep some kind of relationship with her mom. We don't know how close they were, but if she dropped everything to be by her mom's side, they must have been on good enough terms for Mariah to want to be there. Unfortunately, things weren't as smooth with her sister Allison. Reports say they weren't on speaking terms when Allison passed away. And honestly, that's not a huge shocker given how tense their relationship has always been. Mariah has been pretty open about her decision to cut Allison out of her life, saying it was so emotionally and physically safer for her to do so. In her memoir, Mariah shared some pretty wild stories about her sister, including how Allison allegedly drugged her with Valium when she was just 12 years old, offered her cocaine, burned her, and even tried to sell her to a pimp. With all that, it's easy to see why Mariah wanted to distance herself, but Allison denied all these accusations, saying Mariah made them up to make herself look good. Allison also claimed that she had a rough childhood, alleging that their mom, Patricia, pimped her out when she was just a kid. She even shared a story about how her mom once asked her to talk to a man she knew from church, which turned into a creepy situation. And here's where it gets even messier. Mariah doesn't get along with her brother Morgan either. He and Allison were still close, and Morgan had criticized Mariah for cutting them off, especially when Allison needed serious surgery back in 2016. He even accused Mariah of spending more on dog food than it would have cost to take care of her sister, Allison. Mariah, on the other hand, has said she's given her family, including Allison, a lot of money over the years, though she didn't specify for what. Before you go judging Allison too harshly, it's worth noting that she's had a really tough life. She struggled with addiction for a long time and allegedly started working as a sex worker when she was just 16, which led to a heroin addiction and eventually contracting HIV. Addiction is no joke, and Allison had a really rough time with it. And get this, Mariah Carey's sister Allison was reportedly homeless at one point, sleeping in cars or staying in shelters, and she claims Mariah didn't give her a dime. Now, we're not saying Mariah owes her anything, but it's pretty wild that she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and her sister was struggling like that. But that's not even the craziest part. Allison also claimed that their mom forced her into some creepy satanic rituals to boost Mariah's career. Yep, you heard that right. Allison said she was dragged to these terrifying ceremonies as a kid, which she believes led to her struggles with addiction and other issues later in life. She even talked about it in a 2018 interview where she described being woken up in the middle of the night and taken to this spooky castle-like place where she was assaulted. She said they threatened her, saying they'd hurt Mariah if she didn't cooperate. Scary stuff, right? Now, according to TMZ, Allison's addiction drove a wedge between her and Mariah, eventually leading to Mariah cutting her off. Apparently, things got so bad that Mariah didn't even reach out to Allison before she passed. But Mariah reportedly did try to help her out financially and emotionally before she decided enough was enough. Despite this, a friend of Allison's, David Baker, claimed that Allison was desperate to reconnect with Mariah before she died, but never got a response, even though Mariah supposedly knew Allison was dying. And of course, the internet is going wild with these conspiracy theories. Some fans are convinced that Mariah might have sacrificed her sister and mom for fame. We've all heard those stories about celebs making dark deals for success, and now people are side-eyeing Mariah hard. I mean, losing two close family members on the same day seems pretty suspicious, don't you think? Fans are not so convinced that some sort of sacrifice had anything to do with the fact that Mariah lost her mom and her sister. It's just a failed family, and that's it. Some say that Mariah shouldn't even feel sorry, given that what they allegedly did to Mariah is true. One person said, "If my sister did all that, I feel nothing. Her sister always been hardcore drug user." Others, however, do think that this may have been a part of a bigger plot. This is Hollywood we're talking about here, and Lord knows we've seen weird things happen in the music industry, especially. A comment online wrote, "And that's just what she did, SMH. What's the odds of your mother and sister pass away on the same day? All of us are not blindsided. It's a dirty game in Hollyweird." Now, did Mariah have controversies before in her career? Absolutely. We barely see a superstar on the screen without some kind of drama. Mariah has found herself in the spotlight for something less than glamorous. For example, her infamous New Year's Eve performance mishap, or her highly publicized feud with Nicki Minaj on American Idol. Then we also have to mention just how deep the rabbit hole goes when it comes to Mariah and her family relationships. We've seen how her brother Morgan criticized Mariah over the years. Fame might have strained these relationships, and sometimes you can see patterns of estrangement among celebrities who reach a certain level of stardom. Of course, Mariah Carey isn't the only celebrity who has been accused of being involved in dark rituals or making sacrifices for fame. There are others, such as Beyonce, Jay-Z, even Kanye West, who have also been the subject of similar rumors. For some reason, these types of conspiracy theories persist in pop culture. The final question to ask here is perhaps this: how is this controversy going to impact Mariah Carey's legacy? Will fans remember her as the iconic singer with a 5-octave vocal range and countless hits? Or will these dark rumors cast a shadow over her career? Others successfully managed to shake off similar scandals, and perhaps Mariah will be able to do so as well. Let's just see how it goes. It's still fresh news, and we do need some time in order to connect all the dots and see where this story really takes us. So, what do you think, folks? Is there really something dark going on behind the scenes, or are these just wild fan theories spinning out of control? Whether you believe the hype or think it's all a bunch of nonsense, one thing's for sure: Mariah Carey's life is way more complicated than it seems on the surface. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're dying to know what you all think about this, and don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the tea. Stay tuned for more jaw-dropping celebrity stories.